What's up everyone, Clifton here with Clifton Creative Academy, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about creating a custom login page for your WordPress site. Now typically when you build a WordPress website, the login page sometimes may need some customization because maybe you are a fitness coach or you have a membership site or you have a client that is going to be logging in and you want to provide some customization or a white label to the login or some professionalism to it. Okay, so while a lot of people focus on the front end of the website, sometimes there is activity that goes on the back end. And to access the back end, if we go to the back end of any WordPress site that's built by default, you will have the WordPress branding here. You'll have this login, and they all pretty much look the same. And sometimes some clients can be thrown off. They might not know what WordPress is. Most of the people that I work with, they don't care. They're more interested in getting something that is more customized to them. So to add a little bit more professionalism, we're going to talk about how we're going to change this into something that is more professional, more customized, and more aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so in order for us to transform our login page, you're going to install a plugin. So we're going to go to plugins, click on add new, and we're going to search for custom login. Okay, so here are the options that we're presented with, and there are a couple actually really good options. But the one I'm going to be talking about today is the custom login page customizer by Login Press actually. And this is by WP Brigade. Now this is a free plugin. There is a pro version of this that gives you more functionality, but for today's tutorial, we're going to be talking about the free version. In a later tutorial, I will go over the benefits of the pro version of it because there's some even more advanced things that you can do with your login page using the pro version. But for today, we're going to be talking about the free version because it's going to be enough to do what we need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and install this. Activate. Okay, and now the plugin is now activated. So what you can do is just go to the settings. Okay, right now they're asking us to track. We're just going to skip this step for now because it's just a tutorial. All right, and now we are in the settings page. Okay, so in the general settings, you'll see a bunch of different settings that allow you to set up some things by default. So things like auto remember, custom password fields, and the order of your login username and email address. Okay, and then anything that you want to do in case you want to turn this on for removing all settings when you uninstall the plugin. There are also other tabs here, and some of these are available only in the pro version, but we can go through the tabs. So login redirects basically help you redirect people when they log in to a different page or a different section, and this is something that's offered in the pro version. Okay, there's also social login, which is something that is offered in the pro version as well, and I believe limit login attempts and so on. Auto login and auto login, right? So we're not going to need any of these right now. Okay, so this is fine. Really, all we need to do is just come here, check out make sure that that we have these settings set up, and this looks fine. So next thing we're going to do now is we're just going to go straight to the customizer. So if you go here to the left, click on customizer, and we're ready to start customizing our login. So it's going to take you to the front end of the website. And you can now start customizing the login. Now it does come with a default customization, so you have this image background here, and you can see all the edit points where you can make changes. On the left, you also can see all the edit points where you can make changes as well. Okay, so right now we have these themes. Okay, so we're using the default themes, and then there are pro version themes here, premium themes that we're going to use. We're not going to need any of these right now. We're going to create our own. So we're just going to use the default theme here, and then we're going to create our own. Okay, we're going to make our own changes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our logo. All right, and you can choose to disable the logo if you want. Or if you want to do some more branding, we can keep the logo, and then we can select an image. We're going to select the logo for this trainer, which is Susan Burns. And you can see this is a white logo, and we'll go ahead and add it. We won't see it at first, but we'll change it so that we can see it. Okay. The logo width is fine for now. Logo height is fine. Space bottom and logo URL. So logo URL is going to be the URL of the website. Okay, and I just like to make this, okay, keep that there. And the logo title will be the name of the owner of the site. Okay, the name of the site. All right, this looks great. I'm going to go ahead and move over. We've done the logo. The next is the background. So right here we can see that the background is an image. And typically I try to shy away from using images in my background simply because of the load times, and sometimes it can be kind of distracting. But there are some really cool images. You can actually change the image here and it will change in real time. Here's one of a cute cat and so on. Now the reason I don't use images in the background pages of my sites is simply because a lot of the times the people who are going to be logging in are usually the owner of the site. Now, if you're doing a login page for a membership site and you want to create some sort of aesthetic appeal to the login, then maybe an image would be a great idea. So just for the purposes of this tutorial, we are going to basically use an image. Okay, so we'll use this image. Actually, we want to select our own image. So I'm going to select an image. And I'm going to use an image of the trainer herself. Okay, so let's use an image of the trainer. Just like this. Okay, that looks good. It's hiding her face a little bit, but that's fine. All right, we're going to say no repeat, center, cover, right? So cover means it's going to stretch the full width of the screen. It's right in the center, and we don't want it to keep repeating over and over again. Okay, so this is great. There is a capability of adding a background video if you want to. You would have to upload a video in there to do that, but we're not going to use that capability. And that's pretty much set. So we're going to move on. The next thing will be to customize the login form. So this is the form itself right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. All right, so now you can have an image for the form background. I'm not going to use an image for the form background, but there is this option to enable a form transparency. So as soon as I did that, if you notice, the background, the white background disappeared, and I kind of like this. I like it because now I can see the background here of the trainer. I can see, there's a little bit of a shadow here, but we'll take care of that. But it actually gives it a little bit more better aesthetics. Okay, so we're going to enable transparency. We're going to keep the form width the same, or you can even increase this a little bit if you want. So I can go a little further out if I want. So let's do 488. That's fine. The height is fine. We're going to keep the radius. Now here's the form shadow. So that's the shadow that you can see over there. And this is currently set at 0, and the opacity is set at 0%. But I can remove the shadow entirely, right? So I don't want to have any shadow. And now we can see that our background is looking pretty good already. Okay. And then the form padding is fine. Input fields. So input fields right now are currently set to white. You can change that if you want to. So I can say I want the input fields here to be set to purple. Okay, or I can get this darker if I want to. Okay, you can make any kind of change that your heart desires. Okay, and sometimes you can even match up to the picture itself if you like. But this is, I'm going to keep it at white because white's typically what people have. All right. If I keep scrolling down, there's the input field label color, which is currently set to a dark color here right now. And there's also the remember me, which is down here, these colors as well. Okay, so I'm just showing you the different options that you could do. Now in our case, because our trainer here, has a white logo, we're not really going to be able to take advantage of this transparency. If we had a dark logo, maybe we can. So I'm going to turn off the transparency again. And this time we're going to do a form background color. And the form background color that I'm going to choose, I'm going to go with a sort of darker purple color here. Something like that. There we go. I like that. And then the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to reduce this width. Okay. Down. And we're going to set a minimum height here of 1. Actually, we're going to keep this at 200 where it was before. That's fine. Okay. All right. This looks good. And then we'll keep everything else the same, except the input field text color. So the input field text color right now, I'm sorry, the input field label color. Okay, we're going to change this color to a lighter color so we can have some contrast. That way we can see it. And we're going to do the same thing for the Remember Me color. That way we can see everything clearly. All right, so that looks pretty good. Okay, now we're going to go back here and we're going to go back to our logo. So our logo looks a little tiny. All right, so we're going to expand this to be a little bit bigger. Okay. And we're going to reduce the height here so that everything is a little bit more closer together. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, excellent. So now we're going to go to the forget form. Okay, and the forget form is when people click on the forget me. If you forgot your password, you can go here and just change that color. Here we're going to change this color. We're going to make it a little darker, like the other one was. I think we're at 4. There we go. Right there's good. Great, and that's done. All right, and it simply just moved through the tabs. We don't have a recapture. Button beauty means if you want to make the button different. I do want to make that different. So the button color that I want to select is a sort of a reddish pinkish color. Okay, and why that? Because that goes really well with that purple. So we're going to do this. We're going to lighten it up slightly right there. Looks great. Okay. And then the button border color, we'll make that a very similar color to that one. There it is. And then the color on hover. Okay. I like to keep everything very, very similar, but just a little bit lighter. Okay. So that will make it on hover. And the border we'll leave alone. Button box shadow, I'm gonna leave that alone. The text color is fine, so I just select white. Okay, and then everything else I'm going to leave the same. I don't need to change anything else here. Everything looks great. Okay, so to the next tab, error messages. These are all the error messages. You can change these to anything that you want. I'm gonna leave these exactly as is. So you see there's a lot of options here with Login Press. Then there's welcome messages as well, so you can put in your different welcome messages, welcome message on the login page, and so on. Message field background color, we're just going to leave that alone. And then go back. And then the form footer. So you see this here where it says lost your password, back to Susan Burns. Okay, we want to change that. We want to make it light. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the white for that. I'm going to leave the text hover to be the same. Okay. And back to text color should also be white. There we go. And everything else is great. This all looks good. All right. You have the opportunity to disable the copyright. So right here you see Powered by Login Press. I like to leave it, if I'm using a free plugin, I like to leave it on. That way I can send the author some traffic. Some people like to turn it off, so I typically like to leave this on because I support people that develop plugins, which makes your build outs for WordPress a lot easier. Okay, so this looks good already, so I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And now we have our new login page. So if we close out of this and we go ahead and preview what we have built. So this is what the page looked like before. Okay, regular WordPress and so on. If I go ahead and refresh this, you can see now that we have a nice new login that's customized and doesn't even look like WordPress. Okay, it looks really good. And the question is now, well, does it work? Well, let's check it out. Let's see. Go ahead and log in. And it does. Okay, let's go ahead and log out. And there it is. Now you're logged out. Okay. And that is how you customize your login page for WordPress for free. If you like this tutorial, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And remember to hit the notification bell so that you can get notifications of the future videos that we release. I am going to be releasing a pro version of customizing your login screen, which is going to include things like redirects, changing the login URL for your WordPress site to better protect it, and how to be able to use it in a very creative way for people that are using membership sites. So it's important that you subscribe so that you can get notified when I release that tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.